Hey, hello, Peggy. You're muted.
Am I muted?
Now you're not.
Okay. Hello, good morning again.
Good morning. Sherry, it looks like you're having a hard time logging in for some reason.
Well, that's the same Sherry that's been like 4 different people, the same name.
Well, I don't know why this keeps coming up. I wish somebody would like help me get in touch with somebody that can change that.
So those people individually can't change the name.
They
They
can when they
tried.
get in, but I don't know why they register. They come in at that name automatically.
Because last week I didn't see anybody had it changed. It was the whole time it was the same name for about 4 or 5 people.
Well, it's almost 1 o'clock here. I think I've got 1 o'clock almost. So we started here any moment now. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. If you are in a position where you can turn your camera on, that would be great. You may want to pay attention. It looks like everyone is here has their own name except one, and she's not logging in. But welcome for those people watching on YouTube. I appreciate you guys subscribing. We have over 800 subscribers. We're working our way towards 1,000. And what we practice here, you guys, is wait a minute, mastery level role play. And if you are watching this recording and you would like to join us live, there is a QR code. Please take a snapshot of that. You can register. It is totally free. We go from 1 to 2 Eastern time every Friday, most Fridays anyway. And for a lot of you guys, you already know this, we do have a daily role play that is called Recon. And it's 30 minutes each and every day, 9:30 to 10 Eastern time. And that is also a good opportunity to practice your skills. Today is February 16th. And welcome, everybody. This is basically Free Fall Friday. We can do objections from the table. I may throw a couple of zingers in there for you guys, just to keep you on your toes. And we can do some outbound calls. Recon, 30 minutes. And I've got a bigger audience there. This is mastery, smaller. So we're going to get into a little bit more granular study. And again, if you haven't been to my YouTube channel, there you go. All right. Well, Dan is the first one on. We can play the same way here. If you'd like to participate, raise your hand and we will do it. And again, because it's mastery, we'll get a little bit deeper into my thinking, the whys and the wherefores. So, Dan, you were the first one on. Tell me, what would you like to work on today?
A new internet lead.
Awesome. Now let's talk about that just for a moment. Now, okay, new internet lead. There could come from Zillow, Realtor.com. You've not met them, and so they've inquired on a property. Is that it?
Yes, that's correct. They registered on my site, and they've also been viewing properties.
Okay. Now, have you been working on a conversation that you would like to rehearse right here and debut for us?
It's the conversation of what has you browsing on our home search site.
Okay, so what we do is we practice question-based listing enhanced conversation. So everybody else, even if you are not participating in the role play, listen, because listening does take practice. I want you to listen to this. I'm going to break it up for you, Dan, because it's an outbound call. We generally don't have the same amount of time because we have to strike gold a lot faster. So I want to evaluate you on your first minute and 15, and I'm going to pause and we'll give you some feedback. Fair enough?
Yes, that's fair.
All right. So you're calling everyone. If you just logged on, he's calling an internet lead. They've never met. He's not calling Domino's. And I will have the honors to say ring. Oh, and would you please be calling Peggy?
Peggy, yes.
Peggy?
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi, is this Peggy?
Yes.
Hi, Peggy. It's Dan from the home search site that you registered on late last night, and I'm just reaching out to you. What has you browsing for your next home on our site?
Oh, I'm excited to buy a home.
Oh, wow, you're excited to buy a home. That's great. And I saw that you saved a few properties in East Brunswick. And I'm just curious, is East Brunswick your favorite city, or are you open to other cities, towns surrounding East Brunswick?
Well, I was wanting to go to East Brunswick and I was wondering if you could show me a couple properties I saw there.
Sure, yeah. And I'm just curious, what is your situation now? Are you in a lease? Do you have to sell real estate to purchase your next home?
I'm renting.
Okay,
I'm
you're
not in a
renting.
lease.
Okay, all right. So when you say not a lease, what is that, month to month?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. And also, is there anyone else involved in the search for your next home?
No, it's just me.
Okay, great.
Time, there's 1:15. Now, I'll tell you what, Peggy, I want you to be on the other end of the phone every time I make a call.
I will.
Yeah.
Now, now
I was trying to help him do a script.
it can happen that way, can it, guys? However,
Yeah.
many times in my career, the easier they are, the less qualified they are. That's not always true, but it can be true. Now, does anybody have any? There's a minute and 15 seconds. Anybody have any love or opportunity for Dan? Come on, Jeff. You listen. You do this all day long. Don't be shy. Go back while you guys get up the nerve. Find it somewhere. It's got to be there somewhere in your phone. Go back. Do you have something in front of you, Dan?
In terms of
That
A
conversation.
script.
Do you have it?
no, actually, I don't.
Okay. May I ask a question? Do you make outbound calls on a regular basis?
Yes. Yeah, to my internet leads as well as text and email.
Do you think that basically if you had the opportunity to have that in front of you and you practiced it and you got ready for it, just like warm it up for a game, you would come out with it would come out better.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now I want you now to deliver your opening line again.
Okay.
Now, if you can't remember it because you're winging it, that's like you going up there and I won't use Phil, but Keith.
Well, I'm not winging it. I have it internalized already.
All right. Well, let's hear it then.
Okay. Hello, Peggy. This is Dan from the home search site. Thanks for registering on our home search site. And I'm just curious, what has you browsing our site for your next home?
Looking to buy.
No, be harder.
Oh,
Oh, hey,
who
I
are
got it.
you?
I got it.
Who are you?
Wait, I got it.
What's
Peggy.
this?
You're too nice. Wait a minute. I wasn't browsing.
Oh, you weren't browsing?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that because normally when a new lead such as you registered on my home search site, they always say, I'm just browsing, and eventually they work with me and purchase a home through me.
Oh, am I a lead to you?
Well, that's the way I'm just in role playing.
Well, I know, and I'm just using a little sandpaper, a little like I don't know you much
Yeah.
about. So, all right. So Dan, I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're calling. I have not been browsing on the internet for anything.
Okay, well, someone under your telephone number, your email, registered on my home search site.
Anybody have another comeback for that?
I
might
am
just,
so sorry. I am so sorry to have bothered you, but by any chance, are you planning to buy or sell a property in the near future?
Yes, well, hey, well, maybe this is fake then, Dan. Let me just ask while we're on the phone together, it might be accidental. Do you have any interest in taking advantage of a great market? Would you not, why not use that opportunity to further a conversation?
Yeah.
Now, one thing I will give you credit for, you did deliver the same, I wrote down your first question, you did deliver it the same way. The only thing I would say, now guys, this is what he said. What has you browsing on our site today for your next home? Okay, so that's assuming they're looking for their next home. Now, I have a very similar opening conversation to a lead that you've not, remember, when they were browsing, you might get the lead and you may not know exactly when the lead came in, true? And the lead could be a week old because you forgot to call it. So you're not going to refer to their browsing because they can't even remember. So a very similar opening to a internet lead like that, or a cold lead. I wouldn't call the people a lead. I would, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My office let me know that you had interest in Southwest Florida. And I'm curious, have you found that special home yet? What you want to do is, it doesn't matter how you got their name and number. They, at least at some time we're browsing. Don't get in a fist fight if it was them or not, because it could be somebody, it could be the spouse or somebody else on their computer, true, or they don't remember it. So just go right in. Have you found that special home yet? Please don't make the mistake. Hey, listen, you seem to like, 123 Banana Street, and I'm curious, blah blah blah. They don't remember Banana Street. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then congratulations on internalizing the first line. You delivered it exactly the same
Well,
full time.
I'll just let you know, I have a sync site, and between the hours of like 8 a.m. up until like, I guess, 8 p.m., I have to respond in 5 minutes or it gets reassigned.
I love it. But you don't, however, you still don't know when they were on the website. Unless that tells you.
Yes, it does tell me. I do have like a timestamp. Yeah.
Good for you. All right. Well, I cut you off there. Would you like 30 more seconds? If you want to actually, where would you go? Well, actually, no, you already had the appointment in 10 seconds. So Peggy, you can't be a lead anymore. All right, Peggy, you're up. Somebody be a real lead. This is mastery level, no softball. So Dr. Lowen, you're going to be up. Peggy, what are we working on?
For sale by owner.
An outbound call?
Yes, it is.
All right. And do you have a conversation in front of you?
I have a piece of a conversation, but I don't have every single line in front of me.
Well, my question is this, you guys, again, I'm really attempting to have you guys work on this. If you're going to make outbound calls, you'll never have everything. Do you have the first 15 seconds? Do you have it there in front of you where you can just nail the first 15 seconds? It's not even that long. It's like, I call it the bull ride. Peggy, do you have it in front of you with your first 10 seconds?
Yes.
You have it in front of you.
Yes.
All right.
But I
All
don't
right,
have
now
I don't have a for sale by owner in front of me. I have others in front of me. I don't have one specific one for sale by owner yet.
Then what are you going to do here?
I was just going to ask if I can come see your property. Is this the owner of 123 Main Street? Can I come see your property? That's all I was going to say.
No.
Okay.
Now what?
Oh, no, I can't come see your property.
Why do you want to see it?
Okay, because I'm a listing agent and I would like to have a conversation with you at some point and see when you might consider listing your home with an agent.
I don't want to list my house with an agent.
Okay, that's fair enough. Is it okay if I come look at your home?
Why? I told you I don't. You said you're a listing agent. I don't want to list my house with an agent.
Okay. Well, I do want to come see your home. I want to see what it looks like. I see pictures on the internet, but I just would like to see it in person. Is that
All
okay
right,
with
so
you?
I'll stop. And Peggy is our regular, and she is a sponge at learning. So who's got a tip for her?
I would probably move to motivation and try to see why the home is selling or see why they've decided to sell it on their own. Because it seems like you're going down the same path and he's just going to
Yeah.
continue saying no, 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 no to everything that you say. So
Thank
I
you,
would
Lauren.
switch gears, yeah, and try to get to the motivation and yeah.
Anything else? Good,
Yeah.
Laura.
I would find out where they're going to as opposed to pushing to come see the house. You know, find out if you can help them on the other side, but you kept asking if you could come see the house and he was already telling you, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend unless you are pretty well practiced. If you identify yourself as a listing agent and all you want to do is see the house, what's in it for me? You're looking for the listing. You gave me no value whatsoever. Now, a lot of approaches that people use on an unassisted seller, they say, well, hey, look, I'm an agent, I'm a local agent. I specialize in this neighborhood. I like to know all the inventory because I have buyers looking here. I would love to be able to see your home from your eyes. And so when would you have 7.5 minutes for me to walk through so I can let my buyers know? Now, at least there is some value to them. So what do you have? So other than that, if you don't really call for sale by owners, did you want to do something else?
Well, I called for sale by owners this last week and I got 3 appointments and saw 3 homes. And I didn't get a no and I didn't, it wasn't like that at all. They easily let me come see the home. And I did ask all of them, when are you thinking of listing with an agent? And I did ask them, are you planning to have a pay a fee for a buyer's agent? So I do ask those kinds of questions.
Well, did you get any listings?
No.
Well, maybe we should have a couple of conversations. Now you're doing a good job to get in the home.
Yes.
And are you having the kitchen table conversation?
No.
Why?
Because I figure it's going to take time just following up with them and not drop the ball on that and just keep following up. And perhaps that might work.
Peggy, you're awesome in conversation with people. So why are you not just inviting yourself to the kitchen table to sit down and visit with them?
I don't have a good script yet, and I haven't been able to practice with anybody.
But
And I'm listening on the calls and writing it down, but I don't have any
you just don't have
rehearsal.
to journalize, but even in just talking, because I know we need to have good scripts, but it's also a conversation that people know that you care. You do that very, very well.
You come
You mean go
across
prepared with everything to sit down at the table when I arrive without them knowing we were going to have an appointment to have that conversation?
I don't know that I would spring that on them, but I would think I would sit down and have a cup of coffee with them or whatever, offer
So
to
what
bring.
I do, what I do is I lead them to ask me what to list. So how I do that is I lead them to ask me what I would do if I were listing the house.
So why don't you have that conversation with Peggy? Let's role play that. And Peggy, thank you for your transparency. If you have a conversation for unassisted sellers, that's so simple. Hey, I want to come see your house, and you're getting in the door, then I'm going to put tape over my mouth and just, okay, I'll let you use it. We should use the time then to transition from looking at the house to having a conversation at the table. And all you need is a transition. So Jeff, you just finished. Peggy is. I'll be the buyer owner. You just looked at my house, and you used Peggy's line. You're a listing agent.
Well, I have to go back to. So I set it all up while we're walking through the house.
Okay, pick it up from there.
So as we're walking through the house, I thank them for allowing me and taking the time out to let me take a look at the property. I asked them to give me the story of the house. So what got you here? Why this house? I kind of get their story and let them tell me about the house as we're walking through it.
So may I pause you just for a second?
Sure.
This is exactly what they teach. Diana Kokosa, again, I go to that all the time because she wrote Bold. Agents make the mistake sometimes using the time of going through the home to talk about the bowling trophies, or you have a beautiful family, a nice garden, you have a bourbon collection. She says, don't use the time to talk about their motivation. And that's what you're saying you're doing, Jeff, right?
Right. So
get their story.
So I'm trying to get the story of the house and how they got there and what was important to them when they bought the house. And a lot of times it's, we like the schools. And so I'm using, as I'm getting all this information, I'm keeping that in my brain and I'm storing that up to go in for the close by using that information.
The tour. We've taken the tour. What's the transition to the kitchen table?
Okay. So when we're done with the tour, I say, man, this is a great home. I think that the person who's going to buy this home is going to be someone with, possibly with children and, because the schools are so close and so forth. And I'm kind of refeeding them back the information that they told me. And then I say, so what, if you had sold this house, where were you going to be going?
Well, we're going to stay in the same area. We got grandkids here.
Oh, awesome. So what's the reason for selling this property then if you're going to stay in the area?
Well, our kids are grown, so we just don't need a 5-bedroom home anymore.
Oh, okay. So you want to downsize. That's great. What's important to you as far as your next home?
So let me ask you, are we at the table?
Yeah.
How do you get me sitting down?
Oh, I just sit down. I just sit down. Okay. I just, because I've developed such a rapport with them while we're walking through the house. We're back in the living room and usually we just all just sit down. It just kind of comes natural. I really.
There's no furniture in the house.
Well, then you sit Indian style on the floor.
Yeah, then we just stand there. But typically that's kind of rare. Yeah.
That's interesting. However, okay, some personalities are going to allow that. I'm not going to allow that a lot. Like, okay, so it's working for you.
So if we're just standing there, I'll say, you mind if I sit down?
Now, okay. Now, to me, that's more natural than just sitting. Like,
well, they typically sit down first. So we've been walking through the house now, and the rapport is there. I've found their common ground with them. Whether it be where their kids went to school. So there's a lot of buildup before we get back to the sitting down and kitchen table that makes it a whole lot more natural. We're not doing that all here, but
we don't need all that background stuff. People can do that naturally. However, here's an idea for you guys, Peggy. This could be a good transition. Well, thanks so much for letting me see your house. Out of courtesy, I want to give you something too. I've run some statistics on the neighborhood. May I show them to you? And then maybe we sit down. I brought some things I want to leave with you, and so that might help you. So you come from contribution, and you mentioned coffee, having a coffee. Well, wouldn't it be nice if you had? And I know you're taking you could have a Starbucks close by or a Krispy Kreme, or it could be just a plant. I guess my issue is, and this is just an idea. I've never done this, but what if you took them a gift of some sort? It's just a great gesture because they're shown on. Now we're at the table. However you got there, a headlock or whatever, you're at the table. Now let's have the conversation. So Jeff, you got him there, and if we want to pass the baton back and forth, how do you get me? I will be the buy owner.
Okay.
And you're going to have to ask me a pointed question. How do you begin?
So usually I begin with, now that I've seen your house, would you like me to be honest with you and give you my perspective as a looking through it as a buyer? Because when you're looking at your home, you're looking at it as your home. I'm looking at the property as a buyer. Would you like me to give you some feedback about that?
So
And they,
hang on. We're going to take this bit by bit. Anybody bothered by that statement? I know that's a leading question, but I don't think I would say, can I be honest with you?
Yeah,
100%.
because it's like you're trying to set me up for some bad news.
Well, it tells, it makes you think, well, have you not been honest with me the
Right.
whole time I've been talking?
Right.
However, another way to say it is, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how direct, not honest, how direct would you like me to be? Direct might be a better word than honest.
Mm.
So, all right. So now, okay. So, all right. Well, Jeff, tell me what's going through your brain.
well, I'm just, I was looking at the house and, there's a few things that could be tweaked in it to make it more appealing to buyers. Some painting, some touch up here and there, just to let you know. And I was curious, as far as your price, how did you come up with that $499 price?
Well, I interviewed a few agents, double checked Zillow, and it was under Zillow. So I figured it was pretty competitive.
Oh, okay. Well, can I give you a piece of some professional advice on that pricing?
Okay.
So, buyers, they shop on the internet now, correct? And so they're shopping in chunks from 350 to 450, or 400 to 500, or 500 to 600. And buyers shopping at the 500 to 600 point are not even seeing your property when they go online to shop. So if I might give you a suggestion, if you're going to keep it as a for sale by owner, I would say to just go ahead and bump it up to 500,000 so that you can get those folks that are looking at that price from 5 to 6, which is at the top of their range. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. So, that was just a piece of advice I just wanted to give you, after looking at, just so that maybe you can get some extra interest in the property. Let me ask you this. What's your plan if it doesn't sell? How long are you going to give this a try?
All right. There's no chance of it not selling. I'm going to give you another minute.
Okay. Well, what makes you think there's no chance of it selling? It's been on the market for, a little while now. And, you've told me you've had a lot of people look at it, but no real offers. So I was just curious how long you were going to keep going.
Yeah, I feel, I figured, the election's coming up. It's going to sell. We're in no hurry anyway. Oh,
okay. Well, you said you wanted to get into another property, another home, so that you could downsize and be with your grandkids. What's your plan for that if it doesn't sell?
Well, you keep drilling on the same question. I don't think it's a possibility.
Okay. So what? You got me stumped on that one now. So
All right, let's stop because we want to roll into the other hands here a minute. So here, what are you guys hearing? There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that there are a lot of ways to do this. We can hear some other ideas from people. I'll give you my ideas. If you get the appointment, you have better use that opportunity to get to the table.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple questions missing. Now, again, I know that Jeff stepped in and we're condensing this whole thing. Number one is, why not bring up the conversation if you're at the table? Let me ask you, have you decided to build in compensation? If I were to find a buyer or another agent, are you going to be paying a fee? All right, there's a conversation to have. And the only reason I want to know that is what? There's one reason I want to know that.
To
Are they
determine,
paying an agent?
right.
Well, yeah, okay, right. So are they going to be paying an agent, right? And if they are, then well, I'm curious, why are you doing this alone when there's qualified agents like myself that can help you? Why not ask the question, why are you doing it? And most likely it's going to come down to what?
They want to save money
Right.
on
And so
$45,000.
if it wasn't for the money, if you knew you could actually, it wouldn't cost you anything, would you use the help of a professional? And then, I mean, that's a rational question. If they say yes, well, what if if you would, then, I mean, if that was possible, could we have a conversation about it? So the key is getting to the table. Let's do it again. Now, Dr. Lauren, you've got your hand up, and thanks, Jeff, for that.
Sure.
Thanks,
thank
Jeff.
you for bringing up the point too, an anchor in the point that when you have that time with them, don't be talking about their posies, talk about their motivation. All right, Dr. Lauren, what are we doing?
I've been working on this circle prospecting script, so I'm gonna get going with that one.
What do you know? All right. You're calling Sandra.
All right.
Good luck.
Yeah. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Dr. Lauren Goodwin, local realtor with Keller Williams. And there was a home that just sold down the street. I'm not sure if you saw it go up. Did you see that home on the market?
No. So you're a doctor and a lawyer? I mean, a realtor?
Doctor and a realtor. Yes, that is correct. So I'm just in the neighborhood trying to reach out to other homeowners in the area to see if they know if anyone is interested to moving into the neighborhood. Anyone come to mind who wants to be your neighbor?
So that's 30 seconds. Hang on, Sandra. If you're going to ask a question, why don't you ask a question that has a strong probability of getting a yes instead of a no? Your first
Okay.
question was, you didn't even say which house it was.
Right. Well, this morning you said not to say the address because they probably don't know it. So I was just trying to see if she was aware of any home in the neighborhood that had sold.
Well, the reason I don't give addresses, people don't. It would be the house with the green shutters.
Gotcha.
But however, just ask the question. If you refer, here's the point, you guys. What I heard this on this YouTube thing I was watching today is when I was out walking, is that your words don't matter near as much as how you say them. However, if you're going to ask a question, you're better off to get their head doing this instead of, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. So make sure it's a question they can answer affirmatively. So just reword that. Start again. Lauren. Just go to your second
Okay.
point.
Okay. So do you know anyone that would like to move into our neighborhood?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, well, I appreciate you taking that time. I know I just stumbled onto your doorstep, so you probably haven't had a lot of time to think about it. Any relatives or friends or even coworkers that have thought about or talked about moving right now?
Like into my neighborhood?
In general.
Oh, in general? No, I don't really talk to my family and I don't have a lot of friends.
Okay, well, all right, that's good to know. How about you? How long have you lived in this neighborhood?
Couple of years.
Okay, and what brought you here?
Getting away from my ex-husband.
Oh, okay, I can understand that. What is it that you like about this area?
It's remote, I need to hide. He's been in jail, so I need to stay away from him as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that need to stay away from him.
Maybe he's happier than you.
Okay, you can go pound sand, buddy.
Right. Well, and I know you mentioned, you had no interest in moving anytime soon, but if you were to move, where would you be moving to?
I'd love to move into downtown Houston in a beautiful high rise overlooking the city.
Oh, wow, that sounds beautiful. What interests you about that area?
Well,
I'm going to stop you for a second. Now, I know you're reading a conversation. I'm just kind of curious. Be honest, Sandra. And again, people can. How long would you go? We'll let her do this.
Probably not that long.
Right.
So what's your objective? What's your objective, Lauren?
My objective is to eventually get her information. So that's all the point of the circle prospecting, door knocking is just to get her information so that I can put on a drip campaign and then send her monthly market updates.
Why don't you just sign up for white pages?
What?
What do you
I just signed up for white pages and you can get address, phone number, and email.
Okay.
You're welcome.
That's a nice tidbit. So the issue is that if you want to, and again, I specialize in this area, and I have every now and then I get I send out quarterly update or something. I'd like to be able to send it to you. What's your best email? So you went through all of those questions, and notwithstanding white pages, and you have her number, but you don't have her email or anything like that yet. So you think maybe you're running a danger by asking too many questions before you get what you wanted?
Potentially, but I'm following the Glover U script. So I have a script in front of me and I'm following it. So I'm okay with changing it, but I'm just reading off of what's on the paper.
Cannot believe you just said that.
I know, I'm sorry, but that's the answer. I'm working on the new script. Denny's always like, "You have a script in front of you?" I'm like, "Yes." So I'm reading it.
Well, hang on a second. Have you used the script yet?
So I have been role playing the script all week, and I'm going to be using it starting next week. I've gotten feedback from other role play partners. Some of them say they're good with the script, they're able to get all the way through it, except they don't get the email at the end. Some people say they don't get through it. So I've heard mixed reviews about it, but that's why I'm practicing it, to be honest.
Well, I think that he gives you all of those questions. It's not like a test you have to hand in with all of them answered. It's giving you opportunities to ask questions, waiting for an off ramp to maybe get more information, maybe have an appointment. Probably the interesting thing was I saw the tenor of your conversation change a little bit when she started to talk about, I'd like to have a high rise downtown.
Mhm.
Now, if you could, if you can develop something like that, and now you have did you know that Lennar is building this new one down? Have you been down there to see that yet? You might be able to get a conversation going on what her dream might be. Just don't, all of those, and I don't know, you'll have to ask Jeff. I don't think you get demerits if you don't ask them all. And don't have to ask them in any particular order. However, practice it. Let me know how it goes.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'll be doing this next week. So
Can I ask something about that script, Denny?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the beginning, when you were asking the question about, do you know any neighbors?
Mhm.
But at that point, I thought that would be a great time to say, because Denny was saying, can you find a yes question for a sure yes? Do you like your neighborhood? Before you even, got into, the neighborhood later on in your third question, do
Mhm.
you like your neighborhood? Why do you like your neighborhood? What is it about your neighborhood that you like? And those are a couple of yeses
Mhm.
that I was thinking for you, and then ask, well, do you know anybody else who wants to come into that amazing neighborhood? And plus, I'm trying to get to know the neighborhood. Can you tell me some awesome things I can attract my buyers? Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's good you were listening, Peggy, because when she asked the question, do you know anyone who wants to live here? She said no. Immediately, I thought about what I just said. I wanted to have a yes answer. However, the difference between the two questions was she knew the answer. She had to think about it. But when she said, hey, I just listed a house down the street, do you know which one? Or I just sold one. She didn't, she was blank. However, your point, Peggy, is that it's a conversation out there. Hey, listen, I specialize in this area and new or whatever. It's like, what do you like best about living here? I would start it by saying, listen, the reason I'm calling, I've got two quick questions for you. One, I specialize in this neighborhood, and I want to find out what is the greatest thing you like about it, and talk about it. And number two is, well, I just listed a house down the street with the green shutters, and I was hoping maybe you knew somebody who wanted to move into this neighborhood. So
Flip it.
that would be the way you would kind of bookend that.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Lauren. My
No, no,
husband's
no, no. Listen, that's why we're here. I
he's
appreciate
really
that.
not, but he's really not in jail.
Yeah.
We were going to ask to verify that.
Dominic, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, okay, Sandra, you're up, kind of going down the order. And Bill, are you wanting to play today too? And we got to Garrett. So Sandra, let's do something with you.
Okay. What do you want to do?
What's what you want to do? Do you want to do something? You're getting pretty good at having conversations with sellers on listing price. Why don't you demonstrate your prowess?
Okay. And who am I doing that with?
You can do it, Dr. Lauren.
Okay. Hey, Dr. Lauren, it's Sandra with Keller Williams. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you for asking. Hey, I just wanted to, this is my weekly call, like we discussed when we first met. Want to kind of go over the market conditions. Do you remember that piece of paper that we went over, the 3 outcomes?
Oh.
Keep talking.
Yeah, I believe it's the one with the fish
Yeah.
for the. Okay, I remember that form.
Sorry, I had to get my, yes, it's
Okay.
the fish. So remember we talked about the 3 outcomes, where the property's gonna receive little action, low to no showings. The property's gonna have showings but no offers, and the property sells. So of those 3, where do you see us being at right now?
Well, the property hasn't sold, so we're definitely not at 3. So let's go with 2.
So we have had showings and we've had decent feedback. We've had a few agents that have responded back that the price was on the high end. So with that being the case, let me ask you, where do you feel like we need to be price wise, since we're not getting any offers on your property right now?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
So right now we're at 500,000. And when we did your net sheet, we knew that we had some wiggle room, so do you want to go ahead and do you want to go ahead and adjust your price now, or are you willing to sit on the market a little longer?
Well, I mean, maybe we can sit on for maybe another week or so, see if there's anyone that comes out. I don't know. I think maybe that's our best bet.
Well, let's go back to the reason why you're moving. Remind me of that. I would know.
I wanted to get to a bigger plot of land, have some more outdoor space, make better use of a yard. That's really the dream.
Great. Okay. So right now there is properties that do fit your criteria. So are you willing to wait a couple of weeks and potentially miss the opportunity to purchase your dream property?
I don't know. I mean, the spring market's come in. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of more options and availability come springtime. So maybe I'll have even better options.
Potentially, there could be. We just don't have that crystal ball to know that for sure. But also in the springtime too, we have the potential of more buyers getting off the fence and getting into the buyer pool. So that's going to create more competition for the home that you're buying. Right now, we've got low inventory with your home, and we do have buyers out there and they are buying. So my suggestion would be that we do a price adjustment so we can go ahead and get your price where we can get an offer and then get you moved into the next property. So
where do you think that price is going to be?
So we're at 500,000. I asked you first, what price would you feel more comfortable at?
Hey, don't
I
give in.
mean,
Don't give in.
I'm
You're the
not.
professional. You tell me.
You're the professional. You tell me.
Sometimes it's very difficult to have other people in your ears. So if we look back at the market analysis that we did, remember we gave you a range, and that range was between 450 and 500,000. So we decided to go on the higher end. So that is your range. So you tell me where you feel comfortable staying within that range.
What if we do 499?
We could.
All right,
Okay.
time. Any
She stuck her
feedback-
tongue out.
That was good, Sandra. That was good.
Any feedback for Sandra?
I mean, the one, I think you handled the objections well. The point about me waiting until spring for, I will say this, I felt the pain when you said waiting until spring and potentially, there being more buyers and being more competition out there. I also thought in my head, well, as a seller, doesn't that mean there's going to be more buyers for my property? But you kind of made that point and then moved into a question. And so I kind of lost that thought, which I think was good. And then the crystal ball comment was, it makes levity of it, but it also is realistic. When we don't have a crystal ball, we don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, that's my feedback.
Thanks.
Any other feedback? Well, I can tell you it was a good idea. It's a good idea and made me think of this. If you have a seller that is being a little bit stubborn that wants to buy as well, you should keep them, make sure if you have any control over it, that they're keeping their eyeballs on houses coming up. because you want to basically build that, oh, like, man, the house would be perfect, but the house isn't sold. You want that to happen several times. So that's a very smart card delay, Sandra. The a couple other little things quickly is that, so you must still have on your feedback form what the agents think about price, because you referred to that.
I think we do. I don't
Yeah.
know how to change it. I'll have to get my assistant to do that. I don't know how to do that.
I would recommend you take that off, because it doesn't really matter what other agents think, because the market will tell you, and the market is always right. Agents aren't. And what you want to guard against is someone saying, I think it's priced right. And then you're in a hole. So that's a tip for everyone. So I don't ask other agents in the feedback form. We have showing time or something like that. So when somebody shows it, we email them a form. We get maybe 2 out of 10 back. I don't edit it. It goes right to the seller. They get to see everything, and et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, I thought you did a pretty good job of resisting putting your fingerprints on the price. So
Thank you.
anyway,
I've had a really good coach.
the one thing that I haven't done a good coaching job on is this. We've gone right to the 3 outcome sheet. Obviously, when you're going to call your seller on the weekly calls, okay, weekly call. So let's talk about what's changed. You talk about any new listings, any new pendings. You talk about your, the number of hits on the analytics. So go through the activity first.
Okay.
And again, I haven't been saying that enough. I just been assuming you guys were doing that. And then say, okay, well, we've had one showing this week. You remember the outcome sheet, where are we? So you go through, because there could be other new houses on the market or things that have sold. So update them, and then you end with this. And you did a pretty good job of resisting. You went back to your data, which is okay. So good. I'd give you like an A-.
Thanks, Pops.
So, Dayla, is that you?
Yes, sir.
So what are we doing today, my friend?
I have an appointment today with a for sale by owner. The owner has a property. It's his second property. He's been renovating it for about 4 months. And today he's just, we're meeting, and he said, just bring me a buyer and I'll pay you the 3%. And I want to see how can I convert that to a listing.
All right, well, did you just pop on here a minute ago?
I switched from my phone to the computer.
Okay, because Jeff went through kind of the thing he does. He's going on the Gilligan 3-hour tour. The seller's going to walk you through the house, right? And during that time, you're talking about the seller's motivation. Find an opportunity to sit down at the table and say, hey, look, do you mind if we sit and chat a bit? Or maybe you bring something you want to show them. There's a chance to sit down. Now, this is how I would do it. So let me ask you, so thanks so much. Great job on somebody schooled you well on compensating, a brokerage that brings you a buyer. Because statistics say 90% of your buyers are going to come from another agent.
Yeah.
Let me ask you then, here's a question, Dale. Why are you then selling it on your own? Why are you doing all this work, carrying the liability, and doing it alone?
The only thing I can think of is they probably trying to save on the 3% on the seller side.
Well, just role play. You be that seller.
Okay, so and that's what I needed help with. I don't know. I'm not. Am I on there?
Yeah, I got it. So you're attempting to save the 3%?
Yes.
Okay. Other than that, any other reason why you're taking on all this extra work and liability?
I just don't want the property to sit on the market and be there and not sell, lose value.
Okay, I'm going to stop just for a second now. Again, I want to know what's going through your head. I want to see if you're thinking or what you're thinking. Tell me what you're thinking when he said that.
Okay, the reason.
Not you.
Oh,
He said he doesn't want the house to sit and lose value. I'm thinking he has some motivation to get out of the house sooner rather than later.
Anybody else?
it's a vacant house.
No. Hang on, Dale. Hang on. I want to see if these guys are listening,
I was.
because what he said was not his first objection.
Right.
You said save money first.
Right. Now he
And then
says, I wanted to sit on the market.
I don't want to sit on the market forever. That's why I'm not hiring an agent. That's my second reason. That's what he
Okay,
said.
so again, this is mastery level. Let's kind of like huddle up here. What I don't want you to miss, you guys, even if you're watching this video, I want you to understand those are two different things.
Yes.
Don't put
Yes.
them into one basket. And you know what? I actually need to ask some questions to gain clarity. Because when he said something different, don't go over it.
Which
So,
one matters?
so let me step back in. So Dela, you said you were trying to save the 3% and that you didn't want to sit on the market forever. Tell me more about that.
This is my challenge, you know, because I don't know what his motivation. I don't know why he
It doesn't matter. Just make it up.
make it up. Okay. All right. So I can't think of anything.
Who can step in as a seller and help them out?
I'm going to save money if I don't pay an agent, because 3% to the buyer's agent, I'm not paying 3% to a listing
got
agent.
that.
I can do it myself.
I got that, but you said you didn't want to sit on the market forever. Tell me more.
I have money wrapped up in this property and I need to get it out. And the longer that it sits, I know that the value is going to go down, and I figure I can just do it faster and better myself to get my money out of it.
So what do you do for a living, Dr. Lauren?
I'm a real estate investor and I also have a consulting business.
All right. Well, all right. So now what's the probability this by owners of real estate? I can do it because all right. So you're a real estate investor. What does that mean?
Well, when I find a good property and I think I can fix it up, I'll buy it, flip it, and try to get it sold.
And what was the other thing you said you were?
Consultant.
What do you consult?
I consult with school districts on behavioral concerns they have with their students and staff.
Well, let me ask you this question to see if it makes sense. Clearly, a real estate investor, you understand value, right?
Yep.
And there's no question you can sell the house on your own.
Yeah.
However, have you ever heard or run across companies that you heard maybe in the school board? So I'm trying to tie it back into what you said, where they actually hire, like you have a union probably, right?
Yep. There's a union for teachers. Yep.
And they have labor negotiations, don't they?
Yep.
And they have negotiators, not just people in the union, they have professional negotiators negotiating your contract, right?
Yeah, I believe the union has that. Yeah.
You see where I'm going. Now, she said she was a professional, a real estate investor, so she knows real estate probably values. Where am I going? Where's the chink in the armor?
The negotiation skills.
Well, it's not only negotiation skills. People that are very savvy hire independent negotiators because a third party can negotiate better than the first party. That's why they have professional negotiators, because you are not the decision maker. You can play one end after the other. A professional third party. Well, look at how marriages and all kinds of partnerships and court cases get decided by what? Negotiators, mediators, because they can do it better because there's not emotion. So let me ask you then, see if you want it done faster, if somebody like me that is full-time in real estate and I don't have these other two jobs going on, do you think that maybe we can be doing it faster? Maybe.
Well, how much faster do you think you can do it then?
Well, tell me when you'd like it sold.
14 days.
Okay, so are you willing to lower your price in order to get it sold faster?
Well, like I said, I'm trying to save on that commission. So I guess I don't know. I'm not sure what that would look like for me, to be honest.
Can I ask a question, even though I just hopped in?
Hello, we start at 1, Louise.
I know. If I don't ask it here, I'll just call her when we're done and ask her. But
Oh,
ahead.
so Dr. Lauren, it sounds like you're very good at what you do. And
Yeah,
you're an
I think so.
asset to the school district.
Mhm.
So if the school district could call you, an experienced person in your field, to counsel a student or a teacher, why would they call you versus someone who isn't designated?
They wouldn't.
Huh? What was that?
They wouldn't.
And when I have a toothache, if I had a tooth that needed to be pulled, I could probably do that by tying a piece of string around it and one end and the other end on the door and closing it. Yet I'm still going to go to the dentist. Why is that?
Probably you don't want to feel that pain, and I know they got that laughing gas in there, so that's probably why you go.
And they probably know more about extracting teeth than I do, because this is what they do day in and day out.
Yeah, probably.
So that's kind of where I'm going. Let the professional stay in their lane.
Well, that's exactly the lane to go in, except Dr. Lauren, playing dirty pool here, decided to become a real estate investor. So I've got a seller that's a real estate investor, so they have kind of quasi-professional at selling properties.
Okay, so then how many investment properties have you sold before, Dr. Lauren?
Well, we sold about 4 over the last 2 years.
That's very impressive. Are you curious to know how many our team has sold?
All right, now wait a minute. Okay, so does that
I
make
know
you-
that would be kind of adversarial, but the whole point, it goes back to the more you do, the more you know.
Yeah, well, what the whole concept we're teaching, and you're right on, you've got to look for, I'll go back 1 slide. Pain, she said 14 days in pain. What's the pain? Well, obviously we do it more of it. So if you pulled 4 teeth in the last 2 years, I pulled 35 or 100 teeth. So I'm more experienced. Or the other thing is negotiation. And the bottom line, and you hear me say this almost every week, even to a professional real estate investor, we're going to be free to you. So would you hire me if I was free? I mean, I dare you guys to go on an appointment. And where are you? Dalo, when you go and say, listen, you're trying to save the money. Okay, well, would you hire me if I were free? Oh, that's got to be a gimmick. No, assuming it's not a gimmick. Now, my
Well,
question
then how do you
is,
unwind that and get to a place where you do get paid?
well, you are going to get paid, but we're free. Can you sell your value proposition? So we've got a couple of minutes here really fast. We don't have to role play it. What is our value proposition to a seller? What's number 1?
Exposure.
That could be, you can lay that card, sure. Yes. Yeah, yes. However, I'm going to say the first thing that a seller can screw up is their initial asking price. Now, we've learned in the last several years that the market's kind of funky, and is it possible a seller can list it 1% too low?
Yeah.
So the 3% they're trying to save, and I'm being conservative, is now down to 2%. So is it possible then when an offer comes in, because they're negotiating with a professional, they don't do it every day, and they got 2 other jobs, can negotiate their transaction 1% less than if they would have hired you?
Yeah.
Now the 3% is down to 1%. And then, I mean, the appraisal, the inspections, the time, the liability, somebody's got to do the paperwork.
They don't cross-qualify the buyers at all.
Yeah, what's the opportunity cost of their time? They're missing their kids' Little League game because they got to go back and friggin' do an open house and show their home.
They don't
So
pick up the phone.
you got to slice the bologna, you guys. A seller, I will put this on my license plate if I can get so many letters. A seller is foolish to do it on their own. I'm looking at you beautiful people. None of you cut your own hair, and you could. It's just the results won't be so good. Well, actually, Dela, you probably do your own. I'm almost there too, so.
So I do.
So does that help you, Dela?
Yes, and I hope I'm able to, close him on today, but, because I couldn't think of any other objection than him trying to save money, so.
It
Hopefully.
probably is that.
Yeah.
So somebody did anybody hear something worthwhile today? I appreciate you guys being on. You're my faithful. I'm gonna give you all a ticket to Greece.
It's good.
I'll be waiting for it.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Fell into that one, I guess.
Yeah, you did. You should know that by now. All right, well, it's Friday. It's happy hour somewhere. Sandra, say hello to Dominic. Make sure you when's visiting hours for Dominic today?
4 o'clock today.
All right, thanks for being on, guys. Love you, mean it. Careful. Be careful out there.